This New Year's resolution: cage road rage. Give fellow travelers some notice and signal before switching lanes. Don't tailgate. Driving 2 inches from someone's bumper doesn't hurry them along. Go easy on the horn. Drive in the right lane, pass in the left, and take only one parking space. When you're driving, think golden rule. The lessons we learned during holiday services are good all year long. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Winter vacations. Skiing, sledding, hot chocolate in the lodge. But no such luck for transmission repair technicians. When I come back, I'll tell you why winter snowstorms keep transmission shops busy. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Grueling testing of E15, or 15% ethanol blended fuel, by the Department of Energy is in a league all its own. 86 vehicles were driven more than 6 million miles. That's 12 round trips to the moon. No discernible difference was found in engine wear between test fuels in model years 2001 and later. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Transmission shops are busiest after a heavy snowstorm because, think about it, what do we do when we're stuck in snow? If you said rock our cars back and forth from low gear to reverse, you're right. Unfortunately, for our cars and our wallets, we rock way too hard, resulting in overheated automatic transmissions and damage to universal joints. So the next time you're stuck in snow, easy does it. And remember, if you're really stuck, a tow truck may be cheaper than a new transmission. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. A friend asked Henry Ford, "Soy, what you been up to?" To most people, this has been a greeting, but to Mr. Ford, it was an idea. I'll tell you how he used his noodle when I come back. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Upon EPA approval, advanced ethanol production from grain sorghum will give the nation another option as it aims to meet the federal goal of producing 36 billion gallons of renewable fuels per year by 2022. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Drive to ethanolrfa.org. Henry Ford's known for great ideas, but he really used his bean on this one. Soybean, that is. During the Depression, Ford's chemists focused on converting agricultural products into industrial products to stimulate the farm-based economy. Enter the soybean who, in My Fair Lady style, was transformed from dirt-poor roots into the plastic of star car parts like horn buttons, gearshift knobs, and body enamel. Soy, wouldn't you know? Ford didn't stop there. He also developed a soy wool-like fabric that cost half of sheep's wool. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Baby, it's cold outside, but you're not the only one who's shivering. Slip on your down jacket and hang out a while, 'cause when I come back, I'll tell you how to rescue your car from the cold. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Per a study by Ricardo Engines, the vast majority of the vehicles sold through 2025 in the U.S. will use internal combustion engines, which will require technology assists like turbo boosters and high-octane fuels like ethanol to meet the 54.5 mpg CAFE mandate. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Drive to ethanolrfa.org. If the dropping mercury has your vehicle frozen and your temper boiling, keep your cool by keeping cold. COLD. C. Before your morning coffee, check your vehicle. Wind defrost and ice door locks mean more time getting ready to go, so start early. O. Open frozen doors by heating with a hairdryer or use de-icer on the lock. L. Lights are important, so brush snow from both front and rear lights. D. Defrost the windows and warm the interior, but after you start the engine, back your vehicle out of the garage. Carbon monoxide fumes could really put a chill on your day. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Now there's another reason to look forward to Friday, the favorite day of the work week and aptly named for the Roman goddess of love. When we come back, I'll tell you why Friday's an automotive sweetheart. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Myth is that ethanol production dramatically increases food prices. Fact is that experts from the USDA, World Bank, academia, and independent consultants all note that a complex range of factors influence food prices, including supply chain costs, weather, and oil prices. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Fridays are best known for winding down the work week and gearing up the weekend. But before you turn to the open road, Friday's also the best day to head for your service shop. Most repair facilities are busiest Monday through Thursday, tending to cars that break, often of cumulative neglect over the previous weekend. With a big rush over, technicians tend to spend more time, are more thorough, and pay extra attention to detail on Fridays. With some elected pre-repair on Friday, you'll fall in love with Mondays all over again. TGIF. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And I guess I should start out the program by saying Happy New Year. This is really going to be a fun show. The phones are like 80% banked already. I want to wish you a very happy New Year and hope that you had a fantastic holiday season. A little change of the format as we go forward. I will be taking more calls and I will be shortening my answers. And I also lie a lot. No, I will take more calls, but I don't know about making the answers shorter. It just depends on the type of question. So you call. Allison will take your call, put you in the queue. 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. And I will put you on the air. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. When it comes to safety, there's nothing more important than your vehicle's brakes. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to help you choose the brakes that are an exact fit for your vehicle. Brands you can trust, like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermal Quiet, at guaranteed low prices. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching on a computer or sitting by with your phone, you can go to Watch Bobby Live. Go to Facebook.com/Bobby Likis and message me. I want to win O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'll tell you more when I come back. This vehicle maintenance spotlight is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Nothing's more important than your vehicle's brakes. Though there's no substitute for scheduled maintenance, also be on the lookout for signs of trouble, like your car pulling or a shuddering steering wheel. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to help you choose the brakes that are an exact fit for your vehicle. Brands you trust, like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermal Quiet, at guaranteed low prices. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. You've heard me talk about batteries with PowerFrame grid technology inside. They're stronger, more durable, and keep you going longer. Now, through February 29th, you can save $10 instantly with a purchase of an Autocraft Gold or Autocraft Platinum AGM battery at Advance Auto Parts or CarQuest. Visit the Where to Buy section at PowerFrame.com for more information, including the coupon code. Remember, the PowerFrame logo on the outside of your battery means true strength on the inside. Find your coupon at PowerFrame.com. In the service bay this week is the 2012 Kia Optima. Its owner says the car is sluggish, especially on cold startups. Our diagnosis? A tremendous buildup of carbon on the backside of its intake valves. This can happen with gasoline direct injection, or GDI, engines, as fuel is not being sprayed on the backside of intake valves. The mist of gasoline can actually help keep intake ports clean. So what can you do? Use new Fuel Pro Complete from MotorMedic. Fuel Pro Complete works on both GDI and PFI, or port fuel injection, engines. Dealerships can charge $100 for this service, but Fuel Pro Complete from MotorMedic costs a fraction of that. Fuel Pro Complete treats both the air intake and the fuel system, and it's easy to use. You don't need to unscrew any air intakes or worry about harming sensors. Visit FuelProComplete.com for more information, including a demo video and port locator with a list of vehicle makes and models. That's FuelProComplete.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Like Shakespeare, we ask the question, what's in a name? Ours is pretty blah. We're Geico, not to be confused with Gecko, a small tree lizard. And no, Geico doesn't have a sister company named Girlco. So, in the absence of a perfect name, focus group tested for hipness, we offer car insurance at a fair price. In 15 minutes, you could save 15%. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Our name may not be cool, but saving money always is. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
I tend to put things off. For example, I put off getting a home equity line of credit for a while. Then one day, when I should have been doing my laundry, I went to LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form and got 4 offers back within hours. Then I chose the line of credit that was right for me. Who knows? I may even get around to using it someday.
When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com. Equal housing opportunity. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this edition of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. It's called edition number 1, 2016. So a happy 2016 to everyone out there. And thank you for hanging around, for tuning in. And let's have a good time. I want to share with you just one little note, and then we're going to go to Bob, because Bob was the first to call. and he called in. He's from Florida. Well, wouldn't you know, we are actually located in Pensacola, Florida, inside a 15,000 square foot automotive service shop, some 50, 60 hours a week. We're in the trenches. We're repairing and servicing and pre-repairing, which is preventing repair of our customers' automobiles. If you call with your car questions now, this is a little promo for you. It's an easy $25. It's a gift card from O'Reilly Auto Parts. So here's the drill. You call with your car questions at 888 Car Clinic. I'll put your name in the hat to win a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day, as you hear me mention. And now, just another reason to love O'Reilly Auto Parts, a $25 gift card. It's a nice way to start the new year, and I want to thank O'Reilly Auto Parts. Also, if you're near a computer or at Watch Bobby Live, which you would be, go to Facebook.com. This is really easy. Go to Facebook.com/Bobby Likis, and that's Likis, and message me. And here is the message. I want to win O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's that easy. Okay, to the phones. Bob, welcome to, with a 2000 Ford Passat. A Ford Passat? That's not a Ford Passat. It's a Volkswagen. Bob, what kind of car are you driving this morning?
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Now,
I got a 2014 Passat TDI with 15,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And when I open the trunk, there's a tank on the right back corner, and it's supposed to be a tank for AdBlue. And I don't think it was ever filled. What is that for?
Well, it's a diesel, right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
right.
If it has to be filled, because if it had no fluid in it, then the computer would recognize that, and the computer would send a signal to you, and ultimately, and I'm not sure how that model works with regard to crippling of the engine, but if you're driving a BMW, now this is not you've got a, what year is your car?
2014.
Yeah. If you were driving, if you were driving a BMW, say a 2012, 13 BMW, the light would come on and say, low fluid, and then another light would come on, and then finally it would go into a limp home mode, and ultimately, if you kept ignoring that light, the BMW would refuse to start, because that is an emissions related. That's kind of an oxymoron in it. If I mention emissions and VW in the same vein, but that's neither here nor there. That tank for blue should be filled every time you fill up with, every time you change oil and filter. And that's somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 miles. So if you have a diesel-powered automobile that uses the urea, then you fill that tank with urea, and you can buy that at O'Reilly Auto Parts sells urea. It's a blue fluid, and here's how important, Bob, that is. That is used to burn and clean out the particulates, if you get technical, that are in the catalytic converter, in the exhaust system, so that vehicle runs cleaner and emits fewer emissions. So by all means, you need to take it in and have it serviced. When's the last time you had the oil changed?
They claim 10,000 miles, but like I said, I had 15,000 miles on. I don't like that 10,000 bit. I always change it at 3,000 to 5,000 miles.
Well,
so I want to take it to a dealer or get the oil changed, but I'm afraid of taking it to a Volkswagen dealer, because the thing is the best car I ever had. I get 48 to 51 miles a gallon on a trip running 80, 85 mile an hour with the car loaded. Like when I went to Pennsylvania, 1,100 miles. I mean, that thing was just run. I never had a car like that. So, I mean, I can't believe, I can't even smell nothing in that tank, and I don't think there was ever anything in that tank.
Okay, all right.
Is that possible?
No, it's not. No, it's not. You know, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, the answer is no. Here's what I want you to do. I do want you to go to the dealer.
Okay, all right.
The car's under warranty. If that tank is, if what you're telling me, and there's nothing in that tank, and there's no check engine light on, which you haven't mentioned, there could be a challenge somewhere, or you could just, maybe they put a tank on a car that doesn't even belong. I don't know. But here's the bottom line. And you got to promise me you're going to do this. Take the car into your VW dealer. I would recommend changing the oil and filter every 7,500 miles.
Okay.
That's a stretch for me because I'm a 5,000 mile kind of guy, but 7,500 is okay as long as you use a good synthetic oil, like Mobil One. That's a good synthetic oil, and in fact, you may on the valve cover, it may be on the valve cover, but that's neither here nor there. Take it in, have it serviced, ask the service, not the manager, not the guy at the desk. Talk to a technician. Talk to a service technician and say, Bobby, come and let me show you this. Tell me what this. Ask questions and I'm glad you called me. So that's what I'd advise you to do. You got it?
Yeah.
Go do it.
In other words, the dealer now is 60 miles away. It's all right to run it up there without putting any more fluid in it?
You have no check engine light, right?
No, I don't have no checking light. Mm-mm. And I can't even smell nothing in that tank.
Yes, it's
so
okay.
I think it's been empty.
It is okay. It may well be empty. You may be on to something there. It may be the rear windshield washer fluid for the car. Okay. Happy New Year, my friend.
All right. Well, I thank you, and you have a good year now. Okay?
I will. You just kicked it off. How cool is that? Okay. 888 Car Clinic is the number. 888-227-2546. I almost forgot my own number. How can I forget that number? How many times, Kevin, have I mentioned that number?
Many times.
Many. Okay. Jim in Michigan, Car Clinic reporter, and a happy New Year to you, sir.
And a happy New Year to you, Bobby. Glad the connection's working today, and nice to be with your audience.
It's really, really fantastic. All is well. The crew's here. The phones are lit up, and it's a new year, so here we go. What did you bring to the table this morning, sir?
The Car Clinic reporter, we bought one special report that really caught my eye. GM is now introducing diesel trucks. GM Cannon and the Chevy Colorado are being shipped soon to dealers. They had to wait patiently since September, people that had ordered them, and now they're going to be on the way. And they said they'll love their trucks that they've ordered, but they've got to be patient. They're getting the best possible way to get them out to the customer as quickly as humanly possible.
Well, let me ask you this question, Jim. Do you think the debacle with VW and the diesel emissions, do you think maybe that GM didn't maybe slow deliver or hold the delivery of those vehicles pending a more in-depth inspections at the factory just to make sure the emissions were within the EPA mandate?
Yes, I do agree that they slowed down to be extra cautious because they didn't want them to come out anything but good as gold and no smear from bad emission control. I agree with you completely.
You know, I think it's going to be a hit to buy a little Colorado, and I say little because that's the small truck. And, you know, at one time we had the S10, and I won't make a joke on S10s. Well, I will, too. I mean, an S10 truck were, at least the ones that came through our shop, really had problems that were design problems, and we weren't really crazy about the S10. On the other hand, we had some Rangers, some little small Ford Rangers that were less than, I mean, they had no power. They were just like small trucks. Fast forward to 2016, well, 2015, but 2016, where we are today, and you got the Colorado, and I think what you're going to see is a resurgence of the small vehicle truck that has the power that before now was never available due to the turbocharged, you know, with Ford, their EcoBoost and their three-cylinder. Think about this. You can buy the Colorado with the diesel that you mentioned that gets, I don't know what gas mileage, probably in the mid-40s or so, which is unbelievable, or you could buy a Ford. Now, I'm not saying Ford's going to do this, but it wouldn't doubt me. I wouldn't doubt it if they came out with a three-cylinder, if they install their three-cylinder EcoBoost in a small Ranger and rebirth that Ranger. But the bottom line is, monkey see, monkey do. You're gonna see one manufacturer and GM beat them everyone to the punch with a small truck, And now they've got the diesel-powered small truck, which means you have the turbocharged diesel, which has power, and MPG, and it's clean emissions. So hooray for us. I think all is well. Hey, my friend, thank you. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for your call in. Jim, Car Clinic reporter from Michigan, your calls when I come back from this commercial break. Don't touch that dial. When it comes to safety, there's nothing more important than your vehicle's brakes. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to help you choose the brakes that are an exact fit for your vehicle. Brands you trust like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermo Quiet. O'Reilly Auto Parts has the brake parts and accessories you need at guaranteed low prices. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Stay tuned to Car Clinic today because I'm giving away a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. One lucky Car Clinic listener or follower will be awarded the $25 gift card at the end of the show today. Thanks, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Nice way to start the new year. Call me now with your car questions at 888-CAR-CLINIC. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. From Navy Secretary Ray Mabus. For every 50 convoys of gasoline we bring in, we lose a Marine. Too high a price for fuel. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol. Let's go to the Car Clinic mailbag. Here's a question from Steve in Eugene, Oregon. Dear Bobby, I live in Oregon. I download all of your shows through iTunes and try not to miss a single one. As you know, there's a lot of talk about El Nino heading our way soon. I'm a loyal K&N guy and have a K&N intake system on my 96 Chevrolet Silverado. My friend said I should go back to stock because all the rain this El Nino is going to bring will cause my motor to suck in too much water. What do you think? Steve, thanks for being a regular Car Clinic podcaster. I can understand what your buddy is thinking, but the original equipment air box has a drain hole in it so water will drain out. You'll have no problem with heavy rains. Your motor will definitely not take in too much water, so don't worry, and just think about how great your truck runs on those cool, rainy days. For more information on why K&N air filters are the world's best air filters, drive to knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
I'm 98.
Higher.
Higher at 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us. Allison will take your call and put you in the queue. This is really okay. I'm not going to make fun of you, Allison. I mean, so our first caller was a 2014 Passat, and she was in such a hurry. She said the 2014, so she put down 2004 Passat. And I was trying to figure out the method, to my knowledge, I didn't know Ford made a Passat. Maybe, who knows? I mean, well, Hyundai can come out with anything they want to, like the Genesis, and, it's amazing. And then, let's see, Nissan, Altima. Hey, Hyundai, they really, but you gotta admit, the Hyundai has done a whale of a job with their automobiles. Okay, folks, I'll take your calls. 888, we're going to have some fun. I guarantee you, every program we're going to have fun. So this is the beginning of January of 2016. Yeah, it is the beginning of January as well. What is today, the 2nd, right, Kevin? All day
Today
long.
is the 2nd, yes.
Folks, if you're tuned in to Watch Bobby Live, you got to take a look at this because I'm enamored here. This young man has gone out and bought a microphone and it's a blue, made by Blue, right, Kevin?
Yes, sir. It's the Blue Spark Red Edition.
Blue Spark Red Edition. And what is really neat is he's got all these. He elected to get the XLR, which is the professional cables like we used in the studio here. And the XLR, then it has this little widget that I'm holding that's about the size of a Cuban cigar. And it has an XLR on one side and this teeny little outlet on the other side. It looks exactly like a mini plug for a charger, and which goes to a USB. So here he has this big microphone, and it ultimately plugs into the USB of your computer, right?
That's right. Just hoping to get into some podcasting stuff in my free time.
Podcasting. There we go. Well, we're doing that as well. 888-227-2546. Our next caller up is Jim from Mississippi. Jim, Happy New Year. Glad to have you in the house.
Well, it's just another day, Bobby.
It's not just another day. This is a new year. I mean, you're going to quit smoking. You're going to lose weight. You're going to buy a new car. Are you going to fix your other car?
Well, I quit making them lies myself a long time ago. I look at it like this. I'm just going to get up every morning, do the best I can that day, and go to bed that night and not worry about it.
Well, you're a better man. Actually, I'm with you. But think about it. If we didn't have like the end of the month or the first of the month or the new year, if we didn't have the seasons, I mean, think about those areas where there are no seasons per se. So I like the seasons. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a winter season, or fortunately. But anyway, it's your turn. I'll turn the mic to you. How are you? What can I do for you?
All right. Well, Bobby, on that note there, I tell our radio station broadcast show, we were talking about this global warming or whatever they want to call it. I said there's season change, whatever it is. There's spring, summer, fall, and football season. That's what it is. All right, now let's get back to business at hand. Bobby, I've talked to you in the past about this 2002 Nissan 3.3. I've got everything squared away on it.
Oh, I can't believe that. I cannot believe. You mean it runs well? The check engine light doesn't come on. You're talking about the exterior,
the check engine light's on right now because I'm in between changing out.
Oh, so you're not finished then? So you still have?
I'm not. It's running better than it ever had. I'm waiting for my things goes on. What do you call them suckers? Goes on. There's two of them.
Sensors.
Goes on exhaust. I'm at a loss for words.
Oxygen sensors. Oxygen.
No,
sensors.
Below that.
A catalytic converter.
Sensor plugs into it.
Catalytic converter.
That's it. The Cadillac convertible. Yeah, that's it. But I've had the two bottom ones taken off because they were stopped up, and I got some ordered. They'll be in next week. But I've got my mileage up now to about 19 miles a gallon. But when you get out of it, you can smell gas. Just like when you put the gas in, it's coming back in your face.
Okay.
Gas just strong around the back end of the vehicle. And another one before I forget about this. This guy over at school has got a brand new F450 diesel. It's like a gentleman talking about a while ago.
Right.
I asked him what was his mileage on it. He said not good. He put that chip in there. It brought his mileage way up. What is a chip and how does it work in a gas vehicle?
Well,
Let's go to the smell first.
Okay. All right. I was going to ask you which one you want to talk. The smell, okay. There's nothing that I can think of that mirrors the odor of raw gasoline. And if you walk out in your garage or your carport and you smell raw gasoline and you have no gas can or no lawnmower, you best look under your car. Number one, obviously you know this car because you've been working on it for years. Now, having said that, there is a gas leak, and my best guess, and it would be a best guess, would be that it's above the fuel tank, because here's what's happening. It's leaking fuel, but it evaporates and runs off. And one of my favorite old descriptors is this: ring around the collar. And just think about this, Jim. If I were to spray Windex on a glass and not wipe it off, you would see that it would be dirty where I sprayed the Windex, and it would be soapy, and it would leave traces of the Windex, obviously. So yes. What you need to look for, if you haven't found wet fluid, and you haven't because you would not have called me, you need to look for traces of where gasoline has run down. Now, where do you find that? You look on the gas tank. You look at the fuel line from the gas tank because, you're not looking for something wet. You're looking for a line connected to the frame, and then you're looking for a place where something's run down, like you sprayed Windex, but you never wiped it off, and that's called history, or like ring around the collar. You got it?
Yes, sir. Just look for that stain on the gas line.
Look for the stain. Exactly. Okay, and as far as what was your second question?
The chip for the.
Okay. I'm just playing
that
with you.
diesel truck I'm talking
okay.
about. He said it done his truck wondered when he put that new chip in there.
It does.
How does it work? Will it work on? That's 3.3. And what is it? And how does it work?
Any diesel that comes out of the factory is detuned, because a diesel will run as hard and as long and produce as much power as you give it fuel. And I will tell you, that's all governed. And the more fuel you give it, what happens? You increase the pressure, you increase the fuel, and you increase the power. But here's the problem. You have exhaust temperature that rises with the occasion. So when you get, for instance, when you buy there's lots of chip companies, Super Chip comes to my mind, because we put a couple of those on, and you don't really put them on, you just plug them in and format or program the onboard computer. But here's the bottom line. You better have an exhaust temperature gauge, because there are 3 different levels. In the top supreme chip for diesel, there are 3 different switches. One is 75 horsepower, one's 100 horsepower, one's 150 horsepower, and 150 foot-pound of torque. And here's the challenge. You can only go so far until you start to get into the racing industry, and a racing engine is the same engine that you and I have in our cars, but with special parts and special compression, but it's all rods and pistons and valves and those sorts of things. Having said that, you better use and they have pyrometers and exhaust measuring devices so that you don't let the exhaust rise above a certain temperature. And I think that threshold is somewhere in the 1,000 or 1,200 degrees, and then you better back off. So that's why, that being that the manufacturers limit the engine to a specific power curve so that it will last longer, so that you and I can't go out and destroy the vehicle, because that's what you and I or a driver might do, hook a trailer behind it, run it wide open or up a hill, and who cares? I mean, this is running really fine, and then you cause damage. So there's got to be some moderation. And just like with your body, you can run as long and as hard as you want when you breathe through your nose. But if you do not open your mouth and you depend on your nose only, you can only get so much air in your lungs, and you're only going to run as fast as that air. So you can get so therefore you open up. Same thing is true for a car that can only run with so much air, but when you put a blower, i.e. a turbocharger or a supercharger, you're forcing the air in there, and you're forcing the power. And that's why Ford's EcoBoost, GM's EcoTech, all SkyActiv, the Mazda, that's why all of those technologies for gasoline engine use RPM rev limiters, because every vehicle that you buy from the factory these days is rev limited, and you put the car in neutral, put your foot on the floor. Historically, you do that, and the engine will run till it floats a valve or breaks a valve spring. Yeah. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. So now we've got our cake, and we can eat it too. We've got the power, we've got the RPM, and we don't have to worry about overdoing it, because the engine has its own built-in saving device or rev limiter.
One quick question, Bob, and I'll let you go.
You already had 2.
On this ethanol gas, it's getting harder and harder to find regular gas to go in my lawnmower, chainsaws, and 3-wheelers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or is there an additive I can put with this ethanol where my engines will accept it?
Not that I know of. I don't know. I'll do some homework on that, and I'll let you know.
All right, Bobby. Appreciate it much. And
I appreciate you. Happy New Year, Jim.
Listen to you every Saturday.
Thank you, sir. What a neat guy. I mean, he has worked on that Nissan of his for I don't know how long. He absolutely continues to amaze me. I see that Howard is on the phone. Howard, you stay right there. I'm going to come back from the break. I'm not going to interrupt our conversation for a commercial break, so you just hang in there. And, folks, now is a great time. Allison will take your call at 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. Gas prices nationally down from same time last year. $2.03.4 is the national average for U.S. regular grade. And there's only one coast, one area in one region in the United States where the gas price is not lower than it was a week ago or a year ago, and that's on the West Coast. And then you still have the West Coast less California. So on the West Coast, it's $2.63. So maybe we've reached a tipping point. And I have received pictures of stations that showed the gas price at $1.89, as I remember. I think our team posted. Did we not post? We did, Kevin. We posted on our Facebook and Twitter and all of our Facebook accounts the prices of gasoline, and we do that. Also, we post real-time reality automobile repair on our Pinterest. I'll tell you about that when I come back. I'll take Howard's call. I'll take yours at 888-227-2546. From the Car Clinic inbox, James writes, I recently noticed the front tires on my Subaru are worn, but rear tires seem okay. Can I change just two? James, today's vehicles run on the sum of their parts to make themselves whole. Traction control, analog brakes, crash avoidance systems all require key information from your vehicle's tires. If you're driving an all-wheel drive vehicle, then tires are especially critical in ensuring the all-wheel drive system does its job and keeps you safe. Changing just two tires instead of four can compromise all-wheel drive operation and, in some vehicles, even cause wear and damage to the all-wheel drive components. When replacing tires, always check tread depth and condition. Rotate your tires at required intervals and check owner's manuals for specifics. Drive to GeneralTire.com to learn about the new Grabber HTS 60, featuring General Tire's newest wear improvement technology that improves tread life up to 25% over the original Grabber HTS. That's GeneralTire.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start out smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Good night, Prevotella. Good night, Actinomyces. Good night, Streptococcus.
Germs, millions of them. They've been building up in your mouth all day, and some of them can even lead to the gum disease gingivitis. Say goodnight with Listerine. Just 30 seconds of Listerine before bed kills germs, even germs that can cause gingivitis. Use Listerine every night and go to sleep with a healthier mouth. See your dentist. Use as directed when brushing and flossing aren't enough.
If you're familiar with the Kulseford section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the Kulseford section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with, and by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a Bluck sedan with sniffed like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's Vehicle Protection Program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for tuning in. We're having a great program today. For some reason, I don't know, maybe it's because the football guys are taking a break. You know, I know that Michigan State has to be taking a break. because they were broken. But and don't shoot me, folks from Michigan. But I got to tell you, that was we've seen some really strange, like Florida. I mean, now Kevin, are you Florida or Florida State?
Well, I'm a Florida student, sir. So
but in your heart of hearts, it's Florida, Florida State.
Go Gators, yes, sir.
Go Gators. Gosh, I knew there was something not perfect about you. What's wrong with Florida State? Ooh.
Oh, my grandmother likes Florida State, so there's a place in my heart for them as well. It's just much smaller.
Every household has to have one or the other. Like Alabama, Auburn. I mean, like fights like cats and dogs, but at least you're there wearing T-shirts and wearing maybe you wear one shirt half and the other shirt the other half. Doesn't matter. But I'm just glad today that we are talking cars, because this is a car show. And by the way, I put your name in the hat for everyone who's called, including the three that are on hold, Bob, Jim, and Howard, and your call too. Remember the phones, 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. You call with your car question, and I'll put your name in the hat to win a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. Or you can go to Facebook.com/Bobby Likis and message me. And the reason I say that is I just got a message. I want to win O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's that easy. Howard, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding.
Thanks for taking my call. Happy New Year, Bobby.
Thank you, sir. And right back at you. Thank you.
Okay, and this is concerning a 2002 Monte Carlo, my son's car.
Okay.
I called you about it before. It kept on stalling out even after they did the recall. And when the last time it stalled out, he noticed that the security light went on. So he had it towed to his mechanic. Mechanic checked it out, and mechanic said that was the problem. The security, it's a factory security. It's not add-on. So we had to replace the computer. Now, is there a separate computer for the security? Which
Yes,
I
sir.
don't understand.
Yes, sir. There's a module. It's funny that you should, it's not funny, but Howard, the average number of modules on a car today, a black box, which is a computer, are 25 average. And they're interconnected. They literally, and I won't go into the history here because I promised that I would keep my answers shorter, but literally they're interconnected so that the left hand does know what the right hand is doing. And to that end, for instance, if you have a door lock, that mechanism where you push the key fob and the door automatically opens, and one of those actuators fails, it's really nothing more than just an electric solenoid that goes click up or click down. However, in today's cars, and you could do that with 3 wires. You could have a solenoid that would go up or down with 3 wires just by switching the ground, the hot and the positive and the ground. But there are 6 connectors on that actuator, and the reason is so that in the event of an accident and the airbag is deployed, all doors know it and are automatically opened. So the onboard computer that runs the engine, it's connected to the onboard body control module that is connected to the security control module and ad nauseum, really. I mean, so the answer to that question is yes, it in that particular vehicle, I believe it's located in the trunk. I know that Mercedes has several modules located in the trunk. A lot of vehicles have their modules located under the rear seat, under the armrest. So the answer to your question is positively there is a separate unit for that security system.
Why did it set a check engine light?
Because
there was no check engine light for this.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to. What was your question again?
In other words, there was no check engine light. Didn't set.
Well,
mechanic had to do a lot of a lot of tests, and
right.
But in other words, my question is, should this have set a check engine light?
Not necessarily, and I'm glad that you asked that question, because there are so many different modules that if the check engine light came on every time a module like a body control module that controls the radio or the power windows or the sliding doors in a van. You know, you could put your hand, not that you would, but a child could easily be, you know, hurt if you were closing a sliding door and a child put his or her hand out there. And so that body control module sees that there's a pressure, an amperage rise, a current rise, and it will say, oops, there's a blockage in the door, back up. And that's why and how a sliding door reverses its direction, but it will not set a check engine light. The only, not the only, because I wouldn't say only, because there's so many different interconnections there. But for instance, if your safety restraint system, which is your seat belt, if the seat belt module were to have a failure, SRS light would come on. However, having said that, if the gas cap were loose and the check engine light came on because it was leaking fumes into the atmosphere, the SRS light in some cases would also come on, because the SRS relies on the engine to function correctly to do its job. And I'm speaking, again, I'm making too long an answer, so I'll cut to the chase here. If you nail the brakes and the ABS comes on, or you nail the accelerator pedal in bad weather and the wheels start to spin, the engine computer will take over and cut the throttle. But if the gas cap is loose and the check engine light is on, the SRS system doesn't know the gas cap is loose. It just sees that the engine light is on, and it says, "Oh wait, don't count on me. I'm out of here because I can't depend on the engine controls." So in that vein, the answer is it depends. It depends on which system will automatically set the check engine light. An SRS system will be set by the check engine, and vice versa. ABS can set a check engine light. There are multiples, and even more so than I could even explain here on the air, or even have the knowledge to explain for that matter. But the bottom line is, the dealer was right. There are tests that have to be performed, and to that end, I'll take it away with this, Howard. When you go to, for instance, a parts house, and they plug in and read the codes, and they got a little $35 code reader. And you can buy a code. We can all buy a code reader for $75, but that doesn't mean we can do tests with it, because it only reads the codes. You can only hold a bottle of Windex up and see how much Windex there is in the bottle, but you can't test what's in the bottle unless you have the professional version like we use in the industry. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand it.
Okay, that's the answer.
That's why I don't buy any of those things. I'm not. I love.
That's why you don't buy Windex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I got you. Hey, good luck, and he's pursuing the right direction. And the main takeaway for you and for your son is to find a shop that he trusts, and then ask questions of that shop. And that's where I can be of service, because I can really give you the buzzwords, and it's a show me. You know, that's what he has to do. Show me the code that you got, and explain to me why you have to test and spend more time and more of my dollars for your time to investigate to find out what the problem is. Hey, Howard, Happy New Year to you, and thank you so much. I'll put your name in the hat as well. Now we will take a call from Nebraska. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Well, good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for holding.
I was calling about, your reporter, Jim. He was talking about the small Chevrolet diesel pickups.
Yes, sir.
Are they available now?
Well, they're starting to ship now, so the answer is yes. But they were available last year,
okay,
but they weren't shippable last year. GM withheld shipping on those vehicles. Now, what I don't know, Jim, is I do not know if GM withheld those diesel-powered Colorados before or after the VW incident. But
Okay.
you know, I would imagine, and then I'll turn the mic to you. I would imagine that somewhere along that same time frame, because the industry hears about itself before you or I hear about it, because there are people in that industry. So behind closed doors, I'll bet you. Well, in 2007, Bosch already knew about this device because they made 11 million of those black boxes for VW. So there's some implications there, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later in the program if I have time. So I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that they are starting to ship, and they have not before that.
Okay. Now, are these available as two-wheel and four-wheel drive? Do you know that?
I think they are. We interviewed, in fact, Kevin, can't think of his name, but we interviewed several GM folks with regard to the Colorado. So why don't you? What's the back door? You go to. I think it's. Ask Jonathan to check on it.
Sure thing. And you can also check on the Bobby Likis YouTube channel, and it's going to be in the last couple videos we've uploaded. There, we have all our interviews uploaded there.
Oh, thank you. That's even better. Jim, did you hear Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I could. The reason I'm asking these questions is, why have they never made a front-wheel drive pickup? I have a full-size Dodge with the Cummins diesel, and it's just two-wheel drive. And I tell you, that thing is a pig on ice. You can get stuck out in the middle of a dry field, with nothing, just on dry grass.
That's a good question. I guess because they make them from. It's got to be the answer. Has to be money, but everything leads back to the investment. I would think that someone like you would rather have the four-wheel drive than to have a two-wheel drive pickup. But I don't know that we've never. Is that a fact? Have we never seen a two-wheel drive? I mean, a front-wheel drive pickup?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, folks. If you're tuned in, Jim's asked a great question from Nebraska. Has there ever been a two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive? Well, has there ever been a front-wheel drive pickup? The problem, if you Google that, it's going to say it's going to be a four-wheel drive. You're not talking about four-wheel drive. You're talking about a two-wheel only, and the two wheels being the front wheels.
Yes.
Not to my knowledge. I can't remember ever seeing a two-wheel drive pickup. But here's what I believe. I mean, from a practical standpoint, I believe that when you buy a pickup, you buy it because you can haul 1,000 pounds in the back.
Right.
So if you put 1,000 pounds in the back, you'd be hard pressed to pull 1,000 pounds. In other words, it would decrease traction. It wouldn't increase traction.
Well, I mainly bought the pickup for over the road, but once in a while, I need to go out and do things that aren't my usual practice.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, I have to back up down the road because I can't turn around on ice. And a front-wheel drive would be great because you'd have all that weight from the diesel engine.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, now you say all that weight from a diesel engine. A diesel engine, a big diesel engine, would weigh definitely more than, obviously, maybe 300 pounds more than a gasoline engine, 250, let's say. And I'm just guessing that. I had this question recently about the size. Someone called me and wanted to put a diesel engine in I forget what kind of car that was. It's been several shows back, but they wanted to put a diesel engine in something like a smart car. I mean, it was and they said, well, just think of the power, but think about the weight you're adding as well, because you would overtax the ability for the smart car weighs 1,900 pounds with a 3-cylinder engine that I probably could hold in my own hand. So if you put a diesel engine that weighed 500 pounds more, then you've got a 40% gain in weight of the vehicle. So it's all about design and all about balance and all about handling, and then the manufacturers have to produce a vehicle
that's sort of indestructible, if you will, if you know what I mean. They have to go out and make sure that the vehicle is going to be able to take the punishment that we give it. But I'm with you. I see that the phones are ringing. I also see that we're at the end of the first hour, so you can stay tuned, and we'll talk a little more about front-wheel drive, diesel-only power, front-wheel drive vehicle, specifically a pickup truck is what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that question. And you can quote me on that. I do not know the answer to that
According
question.
to a quick Google search, there was a front-wheel drive truck made
Really?
by some company out in Romania.
In Romania. Doesn't count. Well, yeah, but so it doesn't count. But we have we have 6 or 8 minutes to ponder it. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to come back for the second hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I invite you to hang around. Like us, you'll love us. Happy New Year.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
History is full of automotive breakthroughs, like Henry Ford's Model T in 1908 and flashing turn signals in 1935. Now, Shell is proud to introduce another automotive breakthrough, Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, featuring an innovative additive package with patented technology. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline protects against all 3 main types of engine performance threats: gunk, corrosion, and wear. All gasolines have minimal amounts of cleaning agents required by EPA, but this may not be sufficient to prevent buildup of deposits. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline provides unbeatable protection against gunk and corrosion, plus superior protection against wear. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, proven in industry-standard tests and recommended by BMW M Series. Don't give your engine just any premium gasoline. Choose a breakthrough. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Learn more at shell.com/US.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Bob, what's new? Last month I'm in Africa. When this wildebeest charges me, we butt heads and he's history. After I pull my guide from the jaws of an alligator, I dig into some beef jerky. I get heartburn. I take out my Rolaids as I'm fighting off a wild boar. In under 10 seconds it starts working. Then the boar is bye-bye. My heartburn's gone.
Rolaids starts working in under 10 seconds? You expect me to believe that?
It's true. Rolaids starts neutralizing acid in under 10 seconds. ROLAIDS spells relief. Use as directed.
While Johnny Kim was getting ready for the first customers of the day, someone else was looking at larger space for his growing business. At 3 o'clock, while the Curtis family was watching their daughter's soccer game, someone else was walking a prospective tenant through one of their apartment buildings. And while Carmen Delabar was preparing for a fashion show, someone else met with an appraiser about her investment property. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this edition of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house. I am talking to you on this neatest, it's new, so it's a Happy New Year, by the way. I know that, Bob, you've held through the break, so you continue holding, you will be the first out. I'm using a new blue mic that actually belongs to Kevin. And Kevin, you bought this mic so that you could do podcasting and things at home.
That's right, sir.
And so we were looking at it, and I was admiring it. And if you're watching at watchbobbylive.com, you can see that I have two mics. I just unplugged my original, Audio Technica, which is a very expensive studio mic, and plugged in the blue mic, and it's really, really way cool. It looks like a throwback, I guess, wouldn't you say? Sort of a throwback, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, a bit of 1950s styling there, with the chrome and all.
So it's really cool. It has a screen. It's a red in body, and they make a blue and a red body. What's the difference in that?
Not much. The blue version usually comes with a USB connection instead of XLR, though.
Oh, that's right. And so this is XLR. Well, welcome to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We're going to have a lot of fun. 888 Car Clinic. Allison will take your calls to put you in the queue, and I'll be glad to answer your car questions, and we'll just talk cars, and Happy New Year again. And by the way, you call me with your car questions at 888 Car Clinic, and I'll put your name in the hat to win a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. When I come back, you, me, the phones, 888 Car Clinic, and cars. In the service bay this week, a 2002 Buick Century with intermittent misfire and stumble under load. The customer's already changed plugs and ignition coils along with fuel injectors and intake gaskets, but has the same problem. Our diagnosis? Heavy carbon deposits on the intake valve, causing fuel starvation and uneven power contribution from different cylinders. Carbon acts like a sponge, absorbing fuel and causing uneven fuel distribution and uneven power. The fix? New Fuel Pro Complete from Motor Medic. It works on both GDI and PFI engines. That's direct injection or port fuel injection. Dealerships charge upwards of $100 for this service, but Fuel Pro Complete from Motor Medic costs a fraction of that. And it treats both the air intake and the fuel system, and it's easy to use. You don't have to disassemble air intakes or worry about harming sensors. Visit FuelProComplete.com for more information, including a demo video and port locator with a list of vehicle makes and models. What can open and close hundreds of times a day on your vehicle? Your vehicle's thermostat, which performs two critical jobs: accelerates engine warm-up and regulates engine operating temperature. With so much at stake, like engine wear, fuel economy, emissions, and cold weather drivability, choose a thermostat professional installers choose. Stant. Stant's Superstat is premium grade and features a heavier gauge stainless steel housing and larger heat motor for optimal temperature control. For more Superstat advantages, visit Stant.com. Bigger isn't always better, but in the case of spark plugs, it can be. How? A bigger spark concentration and explosion produce a more complete combustion for increased vehicle power. Enter the new Denso Iridium TT spark plugs. The TT stands for twin tip, which generates the largest concentration and explosion. Denso's Iridium TT spark plugs also deliver better fuel economy and faster starts while reducing carbon emissions. And it's designed to last more than 100,000 miles. Learn more at DensoTT.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com. When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
This is Willie Works.
Hello.
Back to answer all your laundry questions, like how to get out those tough embedded odors.
Like when your husband comes back from the plant. Woo! Smelling like he brought the whole place home.
Or when one of the cows escapes and you have to wrestle it to the ground. What? I think that's a good one.
They're all good ones, and I have the solution. Febreze for the wash. Just add a capful with your detergent and odors disappear.
Wow! 1 capful is all it takes?
Yep, Febreze for the wash. 1 cap, 1 wash.
And say goodbye to odors.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marta White. Welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. A new microphone that I'm trying out. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Kevin, the producer, who bought this for podcasting. And it's a 50s throwback. If you're watching at watchbobbylive.com, you'll see it's really beautiful. It's quite beautiful. It's brushed stainless steel fixture with rubber-mounted banjo that holds the microphone, and it is a semi-50s. You know, it's an early model. Paul Harvey would be proud. I saw Paul Harvey live in a live performance. I say performance. It was the National Association of Radio Talk Show Hosts in Chicago, and I was never more impressed with anyone in my life. And if you remember how he talked, which we all do, he actually literally on the podium talked to us, and he read every word. And I was really surprised, but he literally held up this piece of paper, and I said, well, here he is in front of 270 people, most of whom were talk show hosts, and he read, and at the end of his performance, I'd say, because it was a performance for him, it was just an everyday occurrence. At the end, he said, I wanted you all to know that I had misjudged the audience. And we all quietened and said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, the things that I wanted to say. So I decided, while the president of the National Association of Radio Talk Show Hosts was introducing me, that I'd rewrite my intro. And so he did. And we really didn't notice. And he rewrote that intro for his own personal reasons. And then we listened to what he had to say, and it was just fantastic. So he changed the way that people talk, at least the way he talked. And I'll tell one story, then I'm going to go to Bob, who's on hold, and I'll take your questions at 888 Car Clinic. Is the story, he got a radio job when he was 15 years old, and he loved to follow this DJ. And about 6 months after he had been at the station manager called him in, and he said, Paul, do you like working here? He says, oh, I love it. He said, well, you're going to be fired. He said, for what reason? He said, I want you to talk like you. You're trying to talk like this other person. You talk the way you talk. And that was a true statement that came out of his mouth, and I was live in the audience to hear him say that, and he never looked back. And what a fantastic individual he was on the air. So here's, I'll dedicate this hour to Paul Harvey with all due respect. And let's go to Bob and take his question, then I'll take your question. Again, 888-227-2546. Bob, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Okay, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
I own a 2009 Shelby GT500 KR.
Okay.
With very low miles, and it's a car it's a combination collector car and a fun vehicle to drive.
I'll bet.
And I'm wondering about ethanol fuel.
Okay.
Fuel containing ethanol.
Okay.
And whether I should make a point of using primarily ethanol-free high-octane gas, and most of that high-octane gas I've been able to find that's ethanol-free is 92 octane, and the vehicle, as you probably know, is 5.4 liter supercharged 32 valve V8, and what are your thoughts about ethanol in that vehicle?
The ethanol is advantageous because ethanol's octane rating is 113. In fact, that's one of the assets and properties of ethanol that makes it such an outstanding additive and outstanding fuel. That's number one. Number two, the ethanol, the E10 or E15, contains oxygen. Every molecule of ethanol contains 35% oxygen. So that's the reason that ethanol was used as an oxygenant to start with, to displace, well, of course, lead. We had lead, Bob, years ago, and then that was caused cancer and carbon buildup and foul air. And so the Clean Air Act made a lot of changes in the way in fuels, and we continue to see changes in fuels. And you're going to see for the future an even higher percentage of higher blends of ethanol because of its positive properties. So there are many, many stories and myths and half-truths that you'll hear about ethanol, but just between you and me and our listening audience, I've been following alcohol fuels since the early 60s, and it started with methanol. And then since 70, mid-'70s, when the oil embargo came, I started following the ethanol. So I have literally probably 400 gigs. Well, I don't know if I have 400 gigs. I have probably 4,000 white papers and articles on ethanol fuels, and have made it my business to study ethanol. And I can assure you that the power that engine produces with that supercharger will be higher with a higher octane fuel than with lower octane. So I would, what is the octane rating of the ethanol premium?
93. It's 93.
Then
93 octane.
Then let's just think about it from the physical properties. If you have, and I know we're not talking about drag racing, but we're talking about performance. If you ran an ET on your Mustang with a 93 octane fuel, which would be the ethanol powered fuel, and then you ran that same ET on lower octane, even if it were ethanol fuel but lower octane, the computer will retard the timing should any spark occur. And even more important, it not only will it retard the timing should you get a detonation, but it will adjust the timing according to the pressure, BME, it's called BMEP, or brake mean effective pressure, and that's all measured in engines on dynos so they can be tuned for higher octane fuel. So your engine will actually produce more horsepower and a lower ET on 93 octane than it will on 90 or 91 or 90, even 92, albeit not 92, 93. That's kind of a nit because then you're splitting hairs. But specifically, the emissions are fewer with ethanol blended fuels. The octane is higher with ethanol blended fuels, and there's zero damage. And just one more, Bob, for your information. There's a gentleman who is the engine director of engines for Earnhardt Childress Racing, ECH, or ECR, Earnhardt Childress Racing. And his name is Andy Randolph, Dr. Randolph, Andrew Randolph, but his name is, I call him Andy. I asked him specifically when NASCAR went from standard high-performance gasoline in 2011 over to E15, if he made any hardware changes. And Bob, when I say hardware, I'm talking pistons, valves, cylinders, the things that are exposed to the fuel and the flame and the power and the heat. And I asked him what changes he made with regard to the hardware of the engine. And his answer was zero. And not only was his answer zero, and I've had dinner with this person twice and served on a couple of councils with him, actually testified in Tallahassee with him. And I said, well, what changes did you make? He said, well, we just had to retune the engine. We remapped the computer, and we're using, we can run more timing more often, and we can adjust the air fuel depending on the oxygen sensor. And they use a Bosch oxygen sensor on NASCARs, which is the same identical sensor. I'm sure they're cherry picked, if you know what I mean. Just like spark plugs are cherry picked, ever how the companies that make them do that. But so to answer the short answer to your question is, by all means, use a higher grade. And then if you really want to know what people are doing with their cars today, there are people that are taking regular E15 approved automobiles and using E85 because they've put a bigger blower, a bigger intake, a bigger fuel pump. And one of those is the general manager of my automotive service shop, Brennan Beasley, who has a 15 WRX that it puts out 376 horsepower, and he can get another 70 horsepower at the rear wheels now if he goes to E85. So that's not a short answer, but that's the facts.
Yeah. Now, what in terms of a vehicle that's not driven a great deal, does the ethanol additive have any detrimental effect on the engine?
Absolutely not. And to that end, ethanol, because it suspends Well, I don't want to make this a rush answer, but I see we have 4 other calls. But Bob, you stay there. When I come back, we'll finish our conversation, and then we'll go on to those in the queue. But folks, thanks for tuning in. What a great time. What a great show today. When it comes to safety, there's nothing more important than your vehicle's brakes. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to help you choose the brakes that are an exact fit for your vehicle. Brands you trust like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermal Quiet. O'Reilly Auto Parts has the brake parts and accessories you need at guaranteed low prices. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Stay tuned to Car Clinic today because I'm giving away a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. One lucky Car Clinic listener or follower will be awarded the $25 gift card at the end of the show today. Thanks, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Nice way to start the new year. Call me now with your car questions at 888-CAR-CLINIC. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. The first gas station offering E15 to consumers opened its E15 pumps in Kansas in July 2012. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. History's full of automotive breakthroughs, like the electric starter in 1911 and analog brakes in 1985. Now, Shell is proud to introduce another automotive breakthrough, Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, featuring an innovative additive package with patented technology. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline protects against all 3 main types of engine performance threats: gunk, corrosion, and wear. In conventional engines, Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline cleans and protects intake valves and fuel injectors. In modern engines, it works in extremely hot engine temperatures to resist the breakdown of cleaning agents and protect against performance-robbing gunk. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, proven in industry-standard tests and recommended by BMW M Series. Don't give your engine just any premium gasoline. Choose a breakthrough. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Learn more at shell.com/US.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone tip
from Geico Auto Insurance. When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Some original thinking by Starbucks barista Frank Botex.
What I love most is getting customers to smile in the morning. Starbucks is just a place to come and relax. Kick your feet back. I mean, it's a second home. Starbucks is now in a grocery store, and what better way to just become your own personal barista at home? You go to the grocery store, pick up some coffee, take it home, let the aroma take over your body.
Your favorite Starbucks coffee. At grocery, at home, at last.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. A new microphone, a new year. Well, this is not it's a new microphone, but it's not mine. It's Kevin's. So, Kevin, how does it sound?
It sounds really great. We've got a lot of dynamic range going on it, not quite as much of a compression factor. It hasn't been fine-tuned the way yours has yet.
This is a blue microphone offered for more for podcasting and those sorts of things, correct?
Yes, sir. It's more for vocal recording and spoken word sort of things. It's a cardioid pickup pattern, and it's very nice. I'm very happy with it.
Good. Well, so am I. I'm glad you brought it in this morning so we could just run a test. And I didn't know that we were going to do it live and in real. But we are. We'll go back to the phones now. We're talking with Bob, and I see that Carol and Jim is in the queue. And, folks, we will be going through the calls at 888-227-2546. You call with your car questions at 888-CAR Clinic, and I'll put your name in the hat to win a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And now, just another reason to love O'Reilly Auto Parts, a $25 gift card. It's a nice way to start the new year. And if you're near a computer or your iPhone or watchbobbylive.com, go to facebook.com/Bobby Likis, that's Likis, and message me. I've gotten a half a dozen messages already. Message me, I want to win O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's that easy. We're going back to Bob. We're talking to Bob. Bob, you still with us?
I am.
Okay.
Let me throw in one quick follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
Why is ethanol-free gasoline available?
Well, because there are, number one, there are fixed jet engines, and I don't mean a jet engine, but fixed jet means a carburetor engine like a lawnmower that has an orifice. And in order for you to use a fuel that has oxygen in the liquid, you have to retune the fixed jet engine and make a larger jet because it has air in it, so you upset the air-fuel balance. So if you want, and stoichiometric in the automotive world means 14.7 parts of air to 1 part fuel. In other words, for every gallon of gasoline your Shelby burns, it burns 9,000 gallons of air. And so, so you got it tuned. Now, for your engine, it's a no-brainer. You can use 10, 15, 30. It may not be approved for 30, but you can use up to 30 with no side effects whatsoever, because you have an oxygen sensor that measures the lack of or too much oxygen in the exhaust and adjust the adjust the fuel ratio. It doesn't adjust the fuel, but by adjusting the fuel ratio and by having an air mass sensor, you know how much air is going in, and you know how much spent exhaust gas comes out and how much air is in it or how much rich fuel is in it, so you control the operation of each injector, and that's how you tune the engine. In addition to that, you have sensors that measure for any pinging or knocking, and you adjust the timing to accommodate the octane of the fuel. So it really is that simple, and I think that's I had one more point that I was going to share with you that was really, it was about the water. Let's and I know that Art and Jim and Carol, please stay there. I'm going to come right to you right next, but this is important because, and this is the last part of this conversation, but I want to make it really clear. There's a term that naysayers with ethanol use called phase separation. Bob, have you heard of that term?
No.
Phase separation is where you store a car or a boat and you have condensation that occurs on the walls of the tank, which is more apt to happen in an open system like a boat because you don't have a closed gas cap.
I have heard that description, but I've never heard that term.
Okay, well, phase separation. Phase separation is where the water accumulates on the walls of the exposed gas tank. So if you got a quarter of a tank, you would have more walls of the tank exposed than if you had a full tank. That's why you're supposed to store a vehicle completely out of fuel, including the carburetor, or completely filled with fuel, and then use a stabilizer for extended because stabilizers will help fuel to store longer without going sour. And gasoline and ethanol blended gasoline both require a stabilizer, identical stabilizers, to cover that fuel storage over identical times. Now, having said that, and here's what I want you to really know, and then we'll go on to the next call. Gasoline can suspend, which means that if you blend it, it can hold 0.15 teaspoons of water before phase separation. So if you've got gasoline, straight gasoline in a tank, and you've got air going in and out, cold and warm and hot, and like in a boat, you will get a lot of condensation that will go to the bottom of the tank and phase separate from the gasoline because the gasoline cannot hold any water. On the other hand, ethanol can suspend 4 teaspoons or 26 times more water than gasoline. In fact, Mercury Marine has said that once you transition from E0, that straight gasoline, to E10, your fuel tank may run drier than before because whatever moisture might have accumulated burns harmlessly through the engine because the ethanol blended fuel can suspend that moisture, and it burns harmlessly through the engine. So there's nothing but good about, and you're going to see more and more premium ethanol coming out now because it's a way that we can use and displace more crude by the use of ethanol. And when I say displace more crude, therein lies where most of the naysaying comes from, because if you're a billion dollar, trillion dollar industry like the oil companies, you don't want to lose that market share, and you can't blame them. So those are the facts as I know them to be true.
Those insights are great. And by the way, Paul Harvey was a truly great American.
Yes, sir.
And a brilliant storyteller.
Yes, sir. Yes,
he
sir.
was absolutely the best.
He was the best, and thank you.
And everyone who ever listened to him was just mesmerized.
Mesmerized. I know. And the stories, the rest of the story, I heard him on.
The surprise ending story.
How did he do that? He could take the most mundane story. I mean, like somebody broke their toe, and at the end of it, it would be like a godsend that this broke his toe because he saved a life by going to the hospital. I don't know. It's like pay it forward. Thank you so much, Bob. I'm glad you're calling.
He was up there with Arthur Godfrey and the True Grit.
Yes, sir, he was. Hey, Happy New Year to you, sir. We'll take another call from Carol, who's been with us the longest. Carol, you're so patient. I thank you. Happy New Year, and glad to have you join us on Car Clinic today.
Thank you. I have a 2008 Ford Fusion.
Okay.
It has 76,000 miles on it. It smells like it's running hot. You know what I mean? The smell.
I do.
But it's not running hot.
Yes, but it's leaking coolant somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, one quick question, and then I'll turn the mic back to you. Does the windshield fog up inside the car?
No.
Okay. That would be a heater core, because that would be the first place that you would easily smell that coolant, because it has that sweet smell to it. But if it smells like it's hot, then that leads me to believe that you have a coolant leak on the engine, and it's running down the side of the engine, and then it evaporates, and of course there's a little steam, but you can't see the steam because it's under the hood, and you're not under the hood.
Right. Okay. I've got to see how to fix that or how much and all of that.
Well, you do, and let me ask this one question. If I mentioned to you the reservoir for the coolant, would you know where that was under the engine?
Yes.
Okay. Some cars have reservoirs that are an integral part of the cooling system and are pressurized.
Okay.
And so with that, you can't open those like Volvos and some of the other cars. You can't open those, Jaguar, Porsche, and I'm sure the list it goes on and on and on. But can you tell me if yours has a little plastic cap that you can just pop open and look down inside like a windshield washer fluid?
Yes.
Okay.
I do believe.
All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to know two things. I want you to know that it's okay for you to pop that little plastic fill cover open and see where the level of coolant is in your Fusion.
Okay.
And the reason that I want you to look in there, if you'll just think on the outside, you can see through that reservoir because it's opaque. The challenge is you may see what I call ring around the collar. You may see where the line used to be, and this happened to me one time, and I'll never forget it. Someone brought their car into my shop, asked me if I checked all the fluids. I said, absolutely. I do it automatically. And they said, well, one of your guys didn't check mine because it's low. And I said, well, that can't be, because it just so happens I was the one that checked your car. Let's walk out and look at your car. And I walked out, and I said, see, you can actually see the fluid there. And I was looking at where the fluid had made a mark.
Right.
And it stained the inside, and I was never so embarrassed, and that was a mistake I never made again. So now when I look at that, I'll take my knee and rock the car, and if that line that I think is the level doesn't rock, I know I'm not looking at level fluid. So that's what you need to know before you spend any dollars. You need to find it, but you need to know, because if you do have a leak over time, you will have to add coolant, and the easiest part that you can do as the owner would be to check the level of coolant in the overflow. Now, you could have an oil leak that could give you a similar, so you're going to have a shop check it out for leaks, but you're not supposed to smell anything coming from under the hood, and there's nothing quite like the coolant odor of being like it's overheated.
Right.
Okay.
And I think I've seen the line that you're talking about, and sometimes that's low. It gets low to me faster than it should. Of course.
Well, if you've had to add, then you have a leak because you shouldn't have to add. The low is in when it's cold, and the high is when it's hot. And you'll see there's a warm fill and there's a hot fill line. So I'm glad you're familiar. Congratulations. And where do you live in Texas? Where do you live in Texas?
Well, White House, Texas. It's close to Tyler, Texas.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. It's glad to and come back and see me next week.
Sure will. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Happy New Year. Well, folks, it just doesn't get any better than that. That's really way cool. And we talked about water earlier and ethanol. BMW is spraying water into their engine. I'll tell you about that when I come back. I'm talking about in the combustion chamber. Don't touch your dial. Let's go to the Car Clinic mailbag. Here's a question from Bill in Boise. Dear Bobby, I'm a longtime listener and appreciate all your advice. I know you saved me a bunch of money over the years. Over the weekend, I was cutting and splitting firewood using my Stihl 880 Magnum saw. Love that saw. And my neighbor came over to check out the commotion. He asked if I was going to put a K&N filter on it. I have K&N filters in my vehicles, but do they make a filter for my chainsaw? Thanks, Bill. We do our best to help save you money and keep your vehicles in top condition. As a matter of fact, K&N does make oil and air filters for many small engine applications, including one for your saw. It's possible K&N makes an air filter for your log splitter, too. To find out, visit knfilters.com, check on air filters and cleaning, drill down to the industrial small engine category, and see if your engine make and model is listed. And while you're on knfilters.com, drive around and look into all the great K&N products for your vehicles and small engine equipment. That's knfilters.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
You can call them used. You can call them previously driven. You can call them anything you want. The point is somebody, maybe even a dozen somebodies, owned the car before you did. And before you put down your hard-earned dollars for the car, you deserve to know exactly where it's been. Get a vehicle history report from Carfax.com. They'll give you the real history of any used car. Visit CARFAX.com or ask your dealer for a Carfax report. Don't buy a used car without Carfax.
I, Dennis Walker, pledge allegiance to the roof. I know it'll be clean. I know it will be comfortable. And I know that if the phone rings when I'm in the shower, I can just let it ring. For I have voicemail. Red Roof Inn, one room, under budget, with free cable and local calls for all.
98% of Red Roof guests are so satisfied with their visit, they plan to come back. Now that's not just loyalty, that's allegiance. For reservations, call 800-RED-ROOF.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? Because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We're having a great time today. This is our show number 1. Yeah. Gosh, if I think back of show number 1, I don't remember. I was nervous. I do remember the first show that I ever actually did was on WCOA 1370 News Talk Radio, our affiliate to this day, 24 years ago, here in Pensacola, Florida. and John Thielen was the engineer, and he had some buttons that he didn't push down, and I had to echo. And if you've never hosted any radio program, and for those of you that have, echo is the kiss of death, because you hear what you're saying twice, and then you hear, and to try to carry on a conversation. And he to this day, John and I are good friends, and he'll come in and sit in when Kevin takes off. He'll look at me and said, "Well, I'll never forget the look on your face that you were talking." He said, "I couldn't figure out what was wrong with you. You had this," and I was trying to carry on a conversation, hearing myself ask the question again and answer the question again, and it was just unbelievable. Okay, let's move forward. We're going to go back to Nebraska, and we're going to talk with. Let's take a call from Nebraska, Jim. And then we're going to go to Art. So, Art, you stay right there. And, folks, 888 Car Clinic is the number. And call with your car questions. I'll put your name in the hat, because in a short time, I will be pulling someone's name out of the hat for our $25 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yes, thank you for taking my call
You're
for
welcome.
a second time today. Your very first caller with the Volkswagen Passat,
yes, sir,
said he was getting 48 to 52 miles per gallon. What is that? Is that 2014 one of the Passats that they are claiming? Well,
yes,
that Volkswagen paid a fine for
yes,
cheating on the emissions.
Yes, sir.
When he goes into the dealer, what is the dealer going to force him to do, or are they going to force him to do anything?
Well, that's a fantastic question, and I don't think that's quite been determined at this time. And it's ironic that it's very perceptive of you, because we've already had a customer like 6 weeks ago that came into our shop, and the car's under warranty, and we do all the service. It's under warranty in case something breaks, but we're authorized to perform all the maintenance services on the vehicle. And he was talking to Brennan, our general manager, and he says, I'm not really sure, and this was a revelation to me, Jim. He said, I'm not really sure I want to take my car back to the dealer, because I like the way it runs and it gets good gas mileage, and I don't know what they're going to do to my car. And so that is a great question. As we go forward, that will be unveiled. Now, that, here's what we think we know. And I have to put a caveat in there. We think we know. We think that VW crippled the emissions control systems to increase the MPG so they could sell more cars. That's what I truly believe, because for the last 5 years, and especially the last 3 that I can specifically remember, VW's goal was to be the largest car maker on the globe. And they did that January of this, I think of maybe not January, but they did that in 2015, last year. Last year was only 2 days ago, but last year. And so in doing so, they thought more about advertising and making cars that get better gas mileage than they did about meeting the EPA mandates. But that would be like somebody, 2 teams playing football, and one team's got 12 players and the other one has 11 players. I mean, there has to be rules and regulations that we all have to live by, as you know, in a society, and especially when it comes to clean air, because that's really how this all started, this being emissions controls and those things. And I remember when we didn't have emissions control, the fact is you could leave a car in your driveway with the engine turned off, a 1965 model automobile, and compare it to a 2000 model year automobile, a round-trip drive from Manhattan to D.C., and a round trip, Manhattan to D.C., would emit fewer emissions in a 2000 car than a 1965 model automobile sitting in a hot driveway with the engine shut off all day long, because the fumes from the gas tank came out the little curved metal tube, and that's what we used to have. If you overfill a gas tank, you could see it run out on the ground. So that we've come a long way. But I will specifically stay tuned, and you stay tuned, because that's a great question that you ask. What will the dealer do to my VW, not mine, but to our VWs, to make them pass emissions, and what effect will that have on the gas mileage? And now, one quick question of you: what do you think that the residual value of the VW brand has been damaged?
To me, no. In fact, if I could, I have a VW dealer close. If I could purchase a new 2014 that was getting that tremendous that fuel mileage, I'd buy it, depending on what the government was going to make me do.
Well, you said, but so you threw a caveat in there. You said depending. So the answer,
on what the government forces me to do.
Exactly. Well, but the same government that forces VW to adhere to the EPA mandates is I believe the reason that GM didn't put their diesel Colorado pickup out until they want. And I don't know that. I'm just surmising that they wanted to make darn sure that they met that protocol.
Right. I mean, I understand that completely.
Yeah. Okay.
But the car is out there. What are they going to make you do? What are you going to have to do to continue to drive that car?
Well, you stay tuned. You're barking right up my tree, and you stay tuned, because I will, when I found out, this will be the first place that you'll hear it straight, direct from the facts, because I intend to dig deeply and find out exactly what's going on. But I don't think that's been, and just one more thing before I let you go, because I'm going to Art. I was privy to, and we recorded this, Kevin's got it, I won't ask you to play it, but we recorded, what was that, a 20-minute conversation that I had, Kevin, with the EPA, folks from EPA, the enforcement officers at EPA, and the media. And there was a lot of media there, from Detroit News and U.S. News and World Report and the Washington Post. I mean, you name a media, and I was there, and I put my star, but I didn't get a chance to ask the question. But somebody had already asked the question, and this was, what would they do? What did they intend to do? And would they sell a 16 model? But they put a stop sale on those vehicles until they could figure out what to do. And I'm sure by now they've got it figured out. But I'm not sure by now that the EPA has agreed to what they're going to do, because it appears to me it takes the EPA a long time to figure out and make answers. I know that because of the renewable fuel standard, they were a year or two behind in coming to an issue with regard to the volume of ethanol that is allowed to be sold on the market. So I don't have a lot of confidence in EPA's ability to pull the trigger quickly. But I do have a lot of confidence in the car makers to do what it takes to sell cars quickly, because they're in that business. Hey, thank you so much, Jim, for calling back.
Thank you.
Very interesting. And now, Art, I want to thank you for holding. We'll go to Art. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
My pleasure, Bobby. Listen, Happy New Year, and I'm an avid listener for years. I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
I got a 2002 Accent, Hyundai, I'm sorry. And I got my light is on, the engine light is on in the dash.
Right.
Been on for quite a while. I have an exhaust leak, and I have a problem putting fuel in the car. And I was just wondering if that exhaust leak first would cause the computer to put that light on.
If the exhaust leak is behind the catalytic converter, it will not cause any problems, other than the fact it could poison you, of course. But so
it's probably, I believe it's in front of it.
Then yes, it definitely. In fact, we have had many, I'd say several. We have had several Lexus cars that had, and most cars have the flex pipe that connects the exhaust from the engine to the cat. And that's the little flex. It's about a foot long or a foot and a half long, and it looks like braided steel, because that's what it is. And we've actually had an air leak that was so slight you could hear no exhaust, and yet it would leak enough air that it would upset the balance of the O2 sensor, and the check engine light would come on because there was a vacuum leak, not a vacuum leak, there was an air leak in the exhaust system, but it was pre-cat, not post-cat. So the answer to your question is that's got to be fixed.
Yeah, it's a funny thing you said that, because it's exactly where the problem is. I hit something in the road late at night, and was that flex pipe, and I took it out, and you can buy them, put one in, and it's just, I got a clamped up type. I'm going to have it welded.
Yes, sir.
But I was wondering if that could be the cause, and you
absolutely
just said. May I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
I have a problem putting fuel in the car. The pump handle keeps snapping. I'm lucky if I get a third of a gallon.
There's nothing that can be more troublesome and more perplexing when you and folks, this is for you and for all cars now. When you fill the gas tank, if you cannot run the nozzle wide open, that means, see, for everything that goes in the tank, every gallon of gas that goes in the tank, it has to displace the air, and that air comes out of the top of the tank, around the gas filler, back up right to where you put the cap on, and that's a hose. It's a bypass, so it lets the air out. And I would say to you that hose is blocked, and it can be blocked with everything from spider cobwebs to dirt daubers to a bad kinked hose. So that's fixable, and by all means you need to have that fixed.
And it's on top of the tank?
It's from the top of the tank to the top of the filler hose, and if you could possibly look in that in that where you put the nozzle in, you can see it, but it's beyond. It's below the restrictor part of the nozzle.
Yes, I remember what you're saying. Okay. I never thought of that. I got under there thinking that it was the rubber hose or whatever twisted, and it wasn't. Everything looked great, but I never thought of the vent on it.
That's a vent. That's the problem. You can't overfill a tank because it's made that way. And if the tank can't bleed air, you're not going to be able to put gasoline in it because it's going to slosh back up the tank, back up the fill pipe.
God bless you, Bobby. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Art.
You helped me a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, I just think it's great. I want to share this with you because I said that I would when I came back, and it was about. I'm going to find that article because I talked about gasoline and ethanol and water. Well, guess what? BMW 1 Series hatchback prototype with direct water injection. Water injection systems where a fine spray of water is sent into the engine aren't exactly a new technology. Well, I know that because we put 50-50 water and alcohol in early model cars in the late 60s and mid 70s to eliminate some of the carbon buildup on high compression big engines, big 500 cubic inch Cadillac for one. But the BMW is already offering such a device in the M4 GTS Special Edition and has previewed it in some other models like the 1 Series hatchback sold overseas. BMW system sprays water in both the intake manifold and directly into the cylinders where, and get this folks, it helps cool the pressurized mix of air and fuel prior to combustion. This cooling effect makes for more efficient combustion, leading to increases in both power and efficiency plus other benefits. And I would say to you that the properties of ethanol, because it is alcohol, provide identical assets to the water injection. Because on those cars that have a higher blend of ethanol, that cools the charge, especially true for direct injection, because it cools the chamber, and that means that you can, if you've got a cooler chamber, you can start the fire a little earlier, which means you can bump the timing, which means you can increase the pressure without going beyond the total pressure limits of the engine. So it's very interesting stuff. I want you to remember, next Saturday from 10 till noon right here on Bobby Likis Car Clinic, You can call with your car questions. And also now it's time for me to announce the winner of today's $25 gift card compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And now just another reason to love O'Reilly Auto Parts with a $25 gift card. This came, believe it or not, I mentioned this, from the Message Me board on Facebook.com/Bobby Likis. The winner is David Smith from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, David, congratulations. You have won the O'Reilly $25 gift card by messaging me at Bobby Likis. That's Facebook.com/Bobby Likis, Likis. Happy New Year. Have a great Saturday. I'm Bobby Likis. I'll see you 10 to noon next Saturday. Likis, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts, and your car's battery is what keeps it all going. Here's something to keep in mind. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. So be sure to choose a battery with PowerFrame technology inside. It's stronger, more durable, and keeps you going longer. That means you can count on a battery with PowerFrame to be there start after start. Here's another reason to feel good about choosing a battery with PowerFrame inside. It's manufactured using the latest sustainable processes. You're moving fast, and you don't want anything to slow you down, especially an unreliable battery. So the next time you need to replace your car's battery, make sure you choose one with PowerFrame technology inside. Look for PowerFrame on the outside, and know there's true strength on the inside.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P. Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, it starts my morning. Happy morning, your name is Folgers Mountain Grow. Now you're here.